Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Alexander, for those who don't know me. This is a third Cursor meetup in Novi Sad, fourth in Serbia, and I'm Cursor ambassador. And my goal here is to educate people, to bring them together, to exchange knowledge, meet each other. So educational and networking purposes, right? And I joined Cursor as ambassador 4 months ago, and planning to do a couple of more events in the near future. You can follow the website, it's cursorserbia.com, and I'll be posting upcoming events there as well. We'll be having a co-working in Niš on 20th, and then 29th in Novi Sad as well, one more. Today the topic is how to be productive with AI and Cursor. I'm sure many of you heard about Cursor and AI, right? And a lot of you are probably using it already, but I plan to give you some ideas and to show you how I personally think about it. So first thing, learning, right? How many of you have heard about Stack Overflow, the website? If you can raise a hand. Yeah, so basically this website, Stack Overflow, when I was first year of college, I just started programming, I didn't know a lot. And then you run into the problem, you don't know how to fix the problem, and first thing you do is you go to Stack Overflow, right? So that's like the place for people to share their problems and to ask for help. And then other people who faced similar problems or know how to solve, they help you, right? So this was the way to collaborate and to share information across the globe between people. And then recently, Stack Overflow company, their stock just dropped dramatically because something called ChatGPT came into existence, and it totally changed the way how people seek for help, how people, approach this type of things, how people seek for information online, right? And then nowadays, if you have some problem, you're probably gonna paste it to AI and ask, where's the problem in this code? So that's how we started thinking about this. And people used ChatGPT for searching the web for information, for summaries of some documents, explanations of code. And as this happens, the knowledge is becoming less scarce. So this is the point I wanted to mention, is that now with all of these AI tools, the knowledge is pretty much accessible. Earlier, it was gated a little bit, in the top universities, and now people across the globe can access the knowledge. And as it's becoming less scarce, it's slowly losing value. And it's dynamically changing how we approach learning, right? The next thing is execution. So ChatGPT, it's good to help you learn, to help you find information, to understand things that you're trying to solve, but it cannot actually execute actions on your behalf. That's why Cursor, Claude, Code, Codex, and other tools came into existence, and they help you transform that, learning and understanding into actions, into executable code. And now you have this LLM reasoning plus the tools, and you can increase your productivity by automating the tasks, by telling the agent to execute the task for you. And as this advances more and more, the agents can be more and more autonomous. And Cursor recently announced these Cursor automations, which actually allow you to spawn agents on some events or time intervals. So yes, we had learning part, now we had execution, productivity, automation part. And now with this, I'll show you how Cursor looks, the interface, and we'll check the Cloud Agents feature as well, and then we'll move on. So this is the Cursor IDE. It's essentially the interface that you can use to program, to develop applications. And this is a fork of Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio is well-known old code editor that programmers use to write code. And on the left, you have the tree of all the files that you have in your project. Here you can write some code. But now what Cursor did is they introduced this right panel where you can actually chat with the agent. So you can select a piece of code here, and then you can ask agent to do something with this code, right? Now here in Cursor we have different modes. You have ask mode, which is similar to how ChatGPT works. If you want just to learn something or to ask it without any actions, any execution, right? But then you have the mode for the agent mode, which can change the code for you, which can do a lot of various other things we'll see later. You have debug mode to help you find bugs in your product, or you have the plan mode. If you have some complex tasks, this helps agents to plan it more robust. Okay, we can get into the details about Cursor later if you have any questions. But for now, let me show you this as well. So now you have Cloud Agents as well. And with this feature, you don't even need to download the code base to your local machine. So you can now you can program in the cloud. So you can connect your GitHub repository here, which I did, choose the branch, and then just tell the agent what to do. And why is this important? This allows us to, request something from the phone, from wherever we go. We can record a voice message telling what we want to achieve. The agent will work for us, and it will submit a change request that can actually be checked later on. So with this feature, and we can see this more and more in industry, that the programming is moving more to the cloud. So you don't even need to program anymore, right? It's mostly about code reviews. Okay. So why should we use this, right? Why should we use Cursor? Why do we build? Well, we use Cursor to build things, to build products. And we build products to solve problems, right? And then if you solve problems for other people, you can eventually make money. So if you're building your own product, you need to sell it. You need to sell it to people, or nowadays even you can sell to agents, right? When we were selling to people, we need to build a nice interface so that these people can interact with your product. And if you're selling to agents, it's slightly different approach. You need to have a good documentation so that agent can understand your code. You need to expose your API so that agents can leverage your functionality of your product. And then nowadays we can see this shift that people are doing more things through chat interface than through the UI. So if this is the case, if the most users are using and leveraging agents, you actually want to sell to agents. And we can see these different ways to, so if you build your own product, Cursor have a thing called plugins. You build a plugin for your product, you plug it in the Cursor marketplace, and then all the agents can leverage your product. This can be achieved through MCPs, through skills. There's a couple of different approaches to how do you expose your product functionality to agents. but we'll keep it like this for now. So yeah, this paradigm shift and new way of interacting with software. And now we want to explain the problem and not tell how to solve it. So the AI will know how to solve it, basically. We just explain what we want to solve. And it's much easier than understanding the complex interfaces. I gave here a couple of examples. So if you're a designer and you need to design something, it's way easier to explain through the chat what you want to achieve than to go and learn the Figma interface, which is pretty complex. Or if you're doing video editing, you need to learn Photoshop first, right? Why wouldn't we use something like Cursor plus Remotion to generate a video for you? Generate video through the code. If you're using GitHub, me personally, I had a lot of issues remembering all the commands, how to do merging and stuff like that. Now I just tell agent, hey, can you do this? Can you merge, create a PR? It does for me. And also this presentation is generated through AI, right? So let me now show you, let me see what I wanted. Yeah. So here I will show a couple of examples. And we'll see how we can generate a design for our website just by using Cursor, just by prompting agent. So I'll select here a model, Opus 4.6. In Cursor, you have this also routers, which help you automatically. If you're not proficient user, you can select this auto mode for efficiency or premium mode for like better performance. But if you want to pick specific model, you can as well. So we picked the agent we want to use. And I'm going to copy the website URL here. But it can also read from the spec. So let's generate a design for our website using pencil.dev. Right. Make it look the same. And let's see what it can do. I'll first click on this extension. So this pencil.dev, it's extension for Cursor. And you can create this new pencil file by clicking here. And now while this file is open, the Cursor has context that it should work with this file, right? So, and you can see it's similar to Figma, like you can do some designs here, but we want to tell agent to do it for us. So let's see what it does. And another example, while agent is doing its work, okay, we can actually see that agent is open browser, and now it's inspecting what's happening on the website, and it's going to try to replicate that into a design. Now what's happening here, it's leveraging this plugin that I mentioned. So Pencil basically has a plugin for Cursor, and Cursor can now leverage its functionality. And what happens under the hood, the code is being generated, and this code is actually designing the thing.
Is it a skill or MCP?
So this one is MCP, right? Let me see what's happening here. Okay, while agent is doing the thing, I'm going to show you this video that I made I one-shotted this video basically for my project. And this is fully generated by Cursor, right? So I just passed a couple of images, explained what I wanted to achieve, and it one-shotted me this marketing video. It also has a voiceover that you cannot hear now. So it's pretty useful stuff.
Is it with Remotion
Remotion, that's the another example that I mentioned. And we can see here that agent is doing the work. And you can see that it's slowly building the design. And then if you're a designer, you can essentially, you don't need to know how to code. You can just directly change some things in the UI, or you can tell agent to improve it, right? So we can see this shift where, you know, when the software first came to existence, people were engineers. They had to design, they had to code, they had to do everything. And then as it became more advanced, then we had this separation of, you know, some people became designers, some marketers, some coders. And now with AI, it's sort of coming back together. You have to have this bigger picture to know how to design the product, and then the AI can help you with that. So yeah, you can see the point basically. We'll check the design when it's done. Let's move on. Yeah.
While the AI is generating the website, how can you ensure that there is no code depth or that the code is actually good?
That's the big problem that we're experiencing now. There's more and more code being generated, right? But how do we review all of these changes to the code? And one way would be to, well, how most of the teams approach it is to write good tests so that you sort of have that test-driven development. You should probably write good specification, good documentation, so sort of guide AI a little bit before it actually starts with implementation. And this slide basically tells about that is if you want to have good quality code, you need to understand a little bit. You know, you cannot just...
So you can't give it that like easy line. So create a website, you give it the image and it creates.
I gave it, but also I have some rules, some guidance for my agent embedded in my repository, which I'll show in a bit. So if you want to have really performant agents, you still need to do some work to understand how LLMs work, to guide your agents, to create some rules, you know. And then you have this model routers that can actually, if you're not proficient enough, they can suggest what model to use, how to use it. Yes, and then moving forward, right? So this is sort of the closing thought that I wanted to give you guys is how do I think that we're gonna proceed with AI, right? So in my view, we'll see this cost against efficiency, like how good is the model compared to how much you pay for it. And then also what Philip mentioned is security and reliability of that code, of those agents. That's going to be a huge bottleneck. And many teams are focusing, double downing on that, how to create good reviews agents, how to create good security agents, how to make sure that this is scalable long term. Then I put a point about software as a service, right? Because now you have Salesforce that charges, I don't know, tens of thousands a month for their services. But what if you can use AI to build in-house solution that is good enough for you, right? And then you have this piece of proprietary data, which is actually what keeps the value still to these big SaaS companies, besides the trust, right? So if you figure out a way to build your in-house solution that's reliable enough, that's secure enough, and that you figure out how to bring this proprietary data to your in-house solution, this can be very challenging for SaaS industry, in my view. And the last point is a little bit philosophical. It's about human identity and purpose, right? Let's say that we go into this direction where AI is pretty capable. And how will we identify ourselves? How will we, position ourselves in that world? If you ask someone, who are you? Usually people say, I'm Alex, I'm 27, and I'm a software engineer. That's my usual representation. And this third part is software engineer, which is what I do, how I bring value to the world, how I bring value to the society, right? So I think we'll have a couple of challenging on this front as well. But yeah, I'm excited to hear your questions.